My name's Melissa Avera, and I love being a realtor. I specialize in real estate in the DFW and surrounding areas, and I also grew up here, so I'm very familiar with the Metroplex. Buying or selling a home can be an extremely stressful task, so I really try to go the extra mile to take that stress out of my clients' hands.
This is Going the Extra Mile. Now, from Frito Nation Productions in the Caddo Office Reimagined Studios, here's Melissa.
Thanks, Chris. So today I'm very excited about this episode. I have a very special guest in the studio with me. He's my great friend, Josh, and he also happens to be my accountability buddy, my coach, and a bunch of other great things. So thanks for being here today, Josh.
Thanks for having me on today.
I want to give just a little intro of kind of how we met and the background leading up to how we became accountability buddies and whatnot. Josh works at the gym that I work out at, and I would go in there and just kind of keep to myself and do my own thing. And then we would talk in passing from time to time, and then we both realized that we were both licensed realtors. Once we realized that, we just started talking more and more and picking each other's brains. And he would always say he had hijacked my workout, when I'd come in, because we'd end up talking about real estate the whole time.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of was a natural progression. The more we started talking about it, the more we just picked each other's brains and wanted to help each other. So probably about, a year or so ago, I just was like, hey, I think we should be accountability buddies. I think we can help each other, reach our goals and just get where we want to be. And so from then, we just literally started pretty much every week, we text each other our goals at the beginning of the week. And then at the end of the week, we try to always meet, whether it's in person or via Zoom or whatever. Just to hold each other accountable, like what were our strengths, what were our weaknesses, where do we fall short, how can we improve, how can we help each other. And doing that, I had no idea when we started doing that how much that was going to change everything, really, for me. I mean, I have a business coach, I've had other accountability buddies, but it was never to the level of just weekly, accountability. And for me, knowing that every Friday I'm meeting with you, that makes me not slack, because I don't want to look at you and be like, damn, I didn't feel like doing anything this week. I just slacked off. It just pushes me to be better. It's nice to have somebody to pick their brain. To me, two's always better than one. We bounce ideas off each other. Again, I've mentioned in a previous episode that a lot of realtors are very territorial, and we happen to be in the same brokerage together. So that's another aspect. It's just we want each other to succeed. We want each other to grow. And to me, that's the best way to get there. Thanks to Josh. Doing this with you has been the best year I've ever had. And I give a lot of that credit to you, man, because, you hold me to this level of accountability that you don't think you do, but you do. And it's just been a game changer for me, and I'm so grateful for the relationship. And I just think it is so important for anybody. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do or what your goal is, you need somebody on your side. Going at it alone, you're not going to get. You might get where you want to go, but you're sure as heck not going to get there as quickly as you would like to get there. And it's just, having somebody to push me in the right direction, having somebody to listen to, to encourage me along the way. And the great thing about us is you got licensed a while, but we got licensed about the same time. But then you shifted gears and didn't, kind of took a pause from real estate and then started to get back into it. And the side of it that he did was more wholesaling, that kind of side. And it was a side that I haven't had that experience. So it's nice to have somebody when scenarios come up that I know, like, well, man, you're my person. I can just call you and you're going to shoot me straight and tell me exactly what I need to know. And you just did that on one of my recent deals that might have gone sideways, but you told me all the questions I needed to ask because you had worked with the company before. And you know, just to give me that insight to help me be better, you know. So that has just been, you know, a real godsend for me. So thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So Josh, did you know that you were that important in her life, holding her accountable and the impact that you have?
Well, I mean, you know, like we meet once a week and we talk pretty much every day. So she's expressed this to me, and it's great that she gets that amount of value from me. But like, seriously, I feel like I get way more out of our friendship than she does. She's just a great person, and she helps me out a ton. She has to know how much she helps me out. I'm calling her all the time with help and things like that. But I'm glad she feels that way. But yeah, in no way, shape, or form do I feel like I provide that to her. So
now, do you work with other people too, or is this just a friend?
Oh yeah. So like Melissa said, I've been in the fitness space for
No, I'm talking about the accountability.
Oh, accountability. Oh yeah.
Okay. It's all kind of the same, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And yeah, that's like, I feel like my job is holding people accountable, you know. But she's the only person that I have this this partnership with, where we intentionally meet to help each other grow, you know. But yeah, she's the only one that I really work with on that aspect. Yeah.
When you're as driven as you are, Melissa, I think it's real easy, because I like to think I'm driven too. I'd be very apprehensive, I think, to work with an accountability partner, just because I think I can do everything myself. Was there apprehension on your part at all to?
Zero.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I think once I saw how, like, his strengths are very different than my strengths, so we can feed off each other and help each other in the aspects where we're weaker. And that's exactly, to me, what accountability is and what I need. And, you know, I've had some other friends over the years, and we'll help each other with things and talk through business scenarios and try to have levels of accountability, but it really helps that we are in the same industry. I think that's where it hits home. And again, just having the person to bounce the ideas off of. And now we follow, there's a coaching program that I've had a business coach for 5-6 years now, I guess. And, you know, that's a certain level of accountability. But my coach is in another state. You know, I don't get to really see her or interact with her regularly. So for me, that's different. I like that more intimate relationship where you can see people, you can see their reactions, you can be like, hey, this is what you need to do, you know, and just black and white. And that has just been an absolute game changer just for my mindset, I think, too, because, you know, every month, every week, I write down goals, whether it's, you know, professional goals, fitness goals, health goals, whatever it is. And then I try to break it down by the week, you know, so it's like I have these big monthly goals, and then I'm like, how am I going to achieve this, right? So then every week I take an hour and I break down those monthly goals into small steps that are more achievable. And then that's what we send to each other. And then, you know, we see each other every day because we work out, and just talk. And during our training sessions, you know, half the time we're just talking about business stuff. And, you know, hey, well, what do I do here? Who do I need to call for this? And, you know, just the constant of having that person to bounce an idea off. Because I get all kinds of crazy ideas sometimes, and I think, is this weird? Is this silly? You know, I don't want I don't want somebody to be like, what is she doing? You know, so I'll call him and I'm like, do you think that's weird? He goes, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Just do it. You know, just go for it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Like, you help me get out of my head. Like, you know, I think so many people go down this tunnel of that you know what you need to do, but they don't want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
or they talk themselves out of it, or like, oh, I'm going to fail, or I'm not going to do this well, so I'm just not going to do it. And you encourage me to just do it, you know?
One of the things about doing what I do, a lot of it, especially depending on what kind of podcast I'm producing, I find a lot of people get in their own way. That they'd be really, really, really good, but they've got the fears, or, you know, they're their own worst enemy because they get in their own way. They, in the world of sports, you know, I could see it all the time, where certain athletes, it's almost like they're scared of success. Mm-hmm. And kind of sabotage themselves. Do you see that a lot?
With myself?
Oh, with other people. Obviously, you're not scared of success, man. You're here right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily. It definitely, you wouldn't think it with Melissa especially.
Oh, no, not
you know,
at all.
because but every once in a while she'll call and ask, you know, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm like, if you asked me that question, you would totally be like, yeah, that's great, go for it. You know, but I do see that, especially, you know, my wife, she's just started a small business, lots of fears. But she also has a lot of the same mindset as Melissa, where she's just going to hit the pavement and do what she has to do. Fear, no fears. It's like there's no other choice, you know? So
I'd rather go down trying and fail and fall flat on my face than have tried at all.
yeah.
And I think that is, fear holds people back all the time. You
Yeah.
know, I can't stand to fail, or I can't afford to fail, but it's like, if you don't try, you're never going to know. And to me, you have to be, and this is where I think the biggest thing that you help me with is getting me outside of my comfort zone. You know, I mean, I never thought I'd be doing a podcast. You know, I mean, this is outside of my comfort zone, but you push me, and it makes me want to do better and provide more value to people. And you do. It's all about your mindset. You have to get out of your own way and just sometimes suck it up and just do it. I mean, I always think to myself, what is the worst thing that's going to happen?
Amen.
And it's probably not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's probably not that bad if
Right.
it does happen.
yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, I've been trained not to do what I'm about to do, so I'm going to try and tiptoe around it. I'm not going to ask you what the specific example is yet. But when was the last time you failed?
I mean,
How long has it been?
I feel like I probably fail all the time because to me, when I fail, I learn. To me, if you're not learning and you're not growing, I'm not progressing. I'm not getting anywhere. So I'm going to try something. I feel like I fail all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I wouldn't say there's just like one epic thing that I'm like, oh man, I bombed that and it was a disaster. But there's probably a series of like little failures, you know. And one of my mottos I always say is small steps equal big results, you know. But try to do one thing different a day. And if you fall on your face, get up, try it again, do it different the next day. I mean, you have to keep at it. Because, I mean, and I tell Josh this all the time. It's like, no challenge, no change. I mean, if I'm not challenged, if something is not pushing me outside of my comfort zone, that I don't feel like I'm growing, whether that's personally, professionally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is. You know, but nobody likes to be uncomfortable, is the thing. And that's why in like the health and wellness and fitness side and business side, he pushes me to levels that I would never push myself. And that's why I think it's so important for people to have their person that will do that for you. And, you know, he knows what I'm comfortable with and kind of what my limits are. And I'll go into the gym some days and he'll get this look on his face like, this is what we're going to do today. And I'm like, you're out of your mind. Like, not a chance I can do that. I think about like the box jumps and some of the stuff that he'll have me do. And I'm like, not today. There's no way I can do it. And he's like, just do one. Just try it. And I sit there and it might take me longer than I think. And I have to just get my mind right. And then I do it. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe I just did that. I didn't think I had it in me to do it. And he's like, I'll do 5 more. Yeah.
And Josh, it is getting your mind right quite a bit. Just getting in that right frame of mind. I knew the answer. I said I didn't know how you were going to answer it. You answered that question exactly why I thought you're going to answer it, because failure does equal growth. It's just like working out physically. I mean, you're tearing your muscles down so they grow back stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
Your muscles are failing in a way.
Yeah.
And they're growing back stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you work till failure, and then you just heal, repair, recover, and you're stronger after it. Yeah.
So it's kind of cliche to say this, but the difference between a successful person and someone who's not successful is the way they handle failure a lot, the way they handle the setbacks, and can they bounce back? And
absolutely. It's how quick you rebound versus, just get up and try again. That's always been my kind of theory in life. Like, I know nobody's perfect. I'm not going to do everything perfect. I'm going to screw stuff up. I'm human, just like everybody else. But that doesn't mean you stop. You have to push the envelope and just keep trying. I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to get where you want to go, you're going to have to.
You got to go the extra mile.
That's right.
That's why that's a great name for this podcast as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And for me, and it's just like what we do, I mean, just having 2 minds is better than one, and I'm part of like mastermind groups of other, realtors and things like that. And it's just refreshing to, if I have a question, know I can throw it out there, whether it's to Josh or to my business coach or to somebody else that's completely outside of, and be like, hey, what would you want? How would you handle this scenario? And just see what other people would do and just be willing to share and just coach each other up, essentially. Yeah, I mean, now that I have the level of accountability that we have, I can't imagine life without it. Like, I wouldn't want to do life without having somebody to hold me accountable. And you can have people for different, different things. It just depends, I think, on what your goals are and where you're trying to go. I mean, obviously, he and I are both trying to grow and be successful in our businesses. And so that's our main focus. And, at the end of last year, we both did vision boards, essentially. And that's something that I will now do probably forever. That's changed the way I look at things. It's changed my mindset. And the reason, I mean, it sounds cliche, like, oh, a vision board, how cheesy. But that's thing.
So Oprah.
Yeah, but I mean, I post it. It is on my bathroom mirror. It's on my phone. It's everywhere. It's hanging up in my office, and it's all my goals, like my professional goals, my personal goals. And the more you see it and the more you look at it, the more it gets ingrained in your mind to just do it, just to make it happen. And that's how I start every day. I literally look at that, and I read everything. I look at all the pictures, and I'm like, what am I going to get better at today? How am I going to grow? How am I going to improve? And most of the time, it's just a tiny tweak, but that tiny little tweak every day over 6 months or a year, it's like compound interest. It's amazing what that can add up to.
So as we wrap things up, what's the one thing, if someone only gets one thing out of this episode, what do you want them to get out of it?
If you have any kind of goal, which I think everybody does, and you're serious about it, get help. Find somebody to hold you accountable, because having one or more people in your circle to push you in the right direction and encourage you and motivate you is just key, because you're going to, motivation only lasts so long when you're by yourself. You're going to have days where you don't want to get out of bed and go to the gym or make the calls or do whatever you need to do to succeed. And knowing that I'm meeting with him at the end of every week, and if I've slacked, I'm like, I can't stand to look at him and say, because he's counting on me to help him too. Like, sorry, man, I didn't do anything. So get help. And that doesn't have to be, people always think like, well, how do I find an accountability buddy? How do I find a mentor or whatever it is? It doesn't have to be someone you know. Like, you can find a mentor. It can be a person who's of like Zig Ziglar, like some of these people, right, that are a lot of in the professional development space. Like, you can just listen to their stuff. You don't have to know them to find the value and for them to mentor you. But for me, I'm very goal-oriented and specific, and I want someone else to know these are my goals, and he's going to push me to get there. And if I fall on my face, well, we're going to talk about what I need to do different to change it up and get there faster.
If you have questions about buying, selling, renting, or investing, don't go at it alone. Reach out to Melissa at 214-280-4317 or Melissa at melissamovesdfw.com. You can find out more about the Melissa Avera Realty Group at TVG by visiting melissamovesdfw.com. Thank you for listening to Going the Extra Mile.